Hi, my name is Crystal Mazzola Wood, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and author of Setting Boundaries, 100 Ways to Protect Yourself, Strengthen Your Relationships, and Build the Life You Want starting now. Today I want to talk to you about boundaries specific to dating. While boundaries exist in every relationship, whether it's a family member or a work colleague or when you're dating, there are absolutely boundaries that are specific to certain situations, like dating. In my previous video, I talk about the basics of boundaries, the two parts of them, the different presentations of them, and that's for every relationship. So if you haven't checked that out, you might want to watch it just to know the basics about boundary setting. But in this video, we're going to discuss 4 specific boundaries for dating. And the first boundary that you really want to consider for your dating relationships or dating relationship is going to be why specifically you're dating. There are a lot of reasons that you might be dating, and so this question might seem kind of obvious to you, but maybe you're dating because you just want to have some adventures, you want to have some fun, maybe you're traveling and you're using a dating app to meet some locals, maybe get some insider tips and have some fun for the specific area you're in. Or maybe you're dating because you want to find a partnership, a committed relationship, and so you're dating so that you can find your future partner, and maybe you want to get married, maybe you want kids, maybe you just want to live with someone long term. Whatever that is, getting really clear on why you're dating is the first question to consider your boundaries for dating. And maybe you're dating because you just think you should, or people in your life say it's time. Maybe you've gone through a divorce or a bad breakup and you took a break from dating and the people in your life are encouraging you to get back out there. But maybe you actually don't know why you're dating and you're not ready to find someone. Therefore, it's really good to get clear on why you're dating, because a boundary might be that you need to keep not dating for now. That's completely valid. Or then if you know why you're dating, so if you're dating just for fun and someone tells you that they're looking for their future partner, they want to get married, probably not a good match for you, because even if you have a lot of fun together, they're going to want different things from you. Maybe they're going to pressure you, and that's not going to be fun for you. Or if you're looking for something serious on the other side and someone tells you that they just got out of a relationship, they're not looking for something serious, they're just wanting to have something casual, something fun, but you really want to get married, then that person's not going to be a good person for you to date either, because you're never going to be aligned on those two things. And it's a sign of a boundary issue to wait around for a specific person to all of a sudden be ready to date, or to think that you're going to prove yourself to them. Those are kind of signs of anxious attachment styles and codependency, to think like, oh, they don't really know what they're talking about, they just need to get to know me, then they're going to change their mind, they're going to want something serious. No, for healthy boundaries in dating, you want to be clear on why you're dating, and you want to keep going on dates with people for as long as you don't know or you are aligned. So if you're on a first or second date and you want to get married, probably not the time that you want to really figure out like, wait, what do you want? How many kids do you want? But at the same time, like, let's say on the third date, they say like, I think you're great, but I want to keep dating other people. That's going to be in your best interest to not keep dating that person, because you're really not aligned in your interests. So then the second thing to consider for your boundaries in dating is going to be how much time you want to invest. Let me say that our boundary issues, we all have challenges and boundaries at different times, and dating has so many opportunities to have some boundary issues come up. Our attachment style is going to impact this question around how much time you want to invest in a dating relationship. If you have anxious attachment or a more codependent, people-pleasing kind of style of dating, naturally, you can absolutely heal, but naturally, then you might want to automatically invest tons of time in a new dating relationship. You might want to text them all the time, figure out what they're doing, see them whenever you have a free moment. On the other side, if you have a more avoidant attachment style, you might want to keep them really at arm's length. Maybe you only want to make a date with them like once every 2 weeks or once a month. And on either extreme, it doesn't really allow for a healthy relationship to develop. Whether you're looking for something more casual or something more intimate, you can still have a healthy relationship, whether it's casual or intimate. And so really you want to consider how much time you have to invest in a dating relationship that allows you to really get to know someone and build a good connection, build the opportunity for real intimacy, really get to know one another, while also protecting yourself. If you're kind of the person who likes to jump with both feet in and get really excited about someone, and then if it doesn't work out, you're totally devastated, even if it was only a month or two. You really want to think about, how much do I want to engage with someone to protect myself, but also still get to know them. And so maybe if you have a more anxious attachment style or even avoidant, maybe you can kind of land in the middle and see someone once or twice a week. And talk to them a little bit, but not spend all day texting, all day communicating, because you're building a premature sense of closeness with them, which is especially problematic if you have an anxious attachment style, because you're getting overly invested in what this one person might mean, when dating really is an assessment process and you don't know if this person's going to be a match for you long term. So investing so much of your time, so much of your energy early on to a dating relationship could really be a recipe for a lot of unnecessary heartache and disappointment. So absolutely feel excited. That is not problematic, and take your time while also leaning in as you need. The other thing to also consider when it comes to time and your boundaries in dating is how much time you want to invest in someone on an app. So before you meet with someone, how much time do you want to take to get to know someone? I know for me, one of my rules was that within, a few exchanges of interacting, if I wasn't being invited on a date, if we weren't scheduling a date together, then I really was going to move on, because that person wasn't looking for a committed relationship, which I was. Maybe they were using the app for validation or attention or for fun or whatever their reasons. I was really looking to move off of the app and not just spend endless time, which is valuable. Time is our most precious resource. It's really the only thing that we can never buy back, time and health. And so incredibly valuable. So really consider how much time you want to invest as you're getting to know someone and on the apps before you get to know someone. The next boundary that you want to consider, this is applicable to many relationships that are close, but in a dating relationship as well, you want to consider how to be appropriately vulnerable. So if you're the type of person who likes to share all about yourself, when you're first getting to know someone, maybe on your first or second date, you're telling someone all about your childhood and your trauma or your mental health diagnoses, appropriate for you might be setting a boundary to pull back a little bit. It's not about being ashamed or embarrassed about these things. There's no shame in having mental health diagnoses. It's absolutely okay to have depression or codependency or have a complex trauma history. There is no shame in that. And when you're first getting to know someone, those early dates, you don't know how trustworthy someone is. You don't know if they can hold those sensitive parts of you in a kind, trustworthy way. You don't know if there's someone who's going to be respectful about that or use it against you. Like maybe they have more of a, maybe they're have narcissistic symptoms and they're going to use it against you later on, that you reveal that. You don't know if they're going to gossip about you. You just don't know these things. It's not about building a wall. It's just about being appropriately vulnerable. So taking your time to share about yourself bit by bit. On the first and second date, start to see how trustworthy someone is. Do they follow through? Are they making plans? Are they keeping their plans? It's a sign of trustworthiness. And then you can reveal about yourself bit by bit, leaning in, but also having boundaries to hold back. If you're someone who kind of is more avoidant or walled off, of course, you're going to have to push yourself to share a little bit more about yourself, not just listen or talk about your accomplishments or what you're really good at or, surface level things. You're going to have to push yourself to say real things. Like if they're opening up about their dad who had cancer, you could say what, I completely understand. My aunt that I was really close to had the same diagnosis and it was really painful watching her process with that. Leaning in a little bit, which might feel scary, but vulnerability does feel scary. Absolutely. But it's the only way to truly connect. And as another aside, sometimes when we are anxiously attached or codependent or have a complex trauma history, we might think we're being really vulnerable by spilling our guts, so to speak, with someone we just met. But in some ways it becomes a wall because we become desensitized to sharing it with other people, and we're not actually protecting ourselves, which is essential for trauma recovery. So those are just a few things to consider. Finally, the fourth boundary that you really want to consider, or boundaries that you want to consider when you're dating, are going to be around sex and sexuality. So the first question obviously is going to be, when and how do you feel comfortable being sexual with someone? Are you okay doing it, having sex with someone early on? Do you need to wait for commitment? And it really is going to align as well with why you're dating. So if you want a committed relationship and someone's pressuring you to have sex early on before you've really discussed, your commitment to one another, that's not aligned for you. You're going to want to set boundaries like, hey, I'd love to, be more intimate with you, but I really need to feel more secure in the possibility that this relationship could grow, that you're willing maybe to be monogamous with me if that's important to you, just to give an example. So, and if you are totally okay with casual sex, wonderful. That's just good to know. Of course, if you want to be more casual in your relationships and someone's telling you like, I like you so much, I could see a future with you, part of boundary setting is being a safe person for others as well. And so you might want to not have sex with that person no matter how much you're attracted to them or like them, just to be a safe person for them, because they're way more emotionally invested in you than you are in them. And the kindest thing to do is to not lead them on, just, to say. And so you also want to consider, how you want to talk about safer sex practices. Do you want to keep condoms in your home? What are you going to use birth control? Do you want to talk to people about, getting tested? All of those things. And also you want to think about how you feel about commitment or non-monogamy. So if you're a person who's more polyamorous or wants to have a non-monogamous relationship, really important to be upfront with people about that, have those conversations, because really dating is about, to me, whether you're trying to have fun or wanting something more serious, or you want to find a partner to get married and have kids, it's about finding that one of the lids for your pot, so to speak, finding someone who's really not perfectly, there's no one who's perfectly aligned for us. We're all separate human beings. That's part of boundaries. So we honor that separateness, but someone who's really aligned with where we're at. So if we want to have maybe a committed relationship, but that's also non-monogamous, then dating is a process of finding those people. Yes, it can be absolutely tricky, just like finding the right job, to find a person who's right for you, but take your time, really consider your needs, and date from a place of being clear on your needs and setting boundaries around those. And then you're sure to find a person who's more aligned for you sooner than not, than if you were dating in a way that's not honoring your boundaries. Because if you settle for things that are not aligned for you, that don't meet your needs and wants, then inevitably you're delaying the possibility for you to get what you truly need, want, and inherently deserve, whether you believe it or not. And so boundary setting is a process of protecting ourselves even if we don't fully believe it, so then eventually we can build the life that we truly love living, with the types of relationships that are important to us. And that includes our dating relationships, of course. So I really appreciate you being here. Honestly, your commitment to learning more about boundaries really makes the world a better place. These are the essential tools for safe relationships and really building the life that you want. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And I look forward to connecting with you in the next video. Bye.